Hey, folks, welcome back, Open Pagan Church. That Open Pagan Church talk show, I should say. Um, yeah, well, we've made some changes. Hence, I guess, part of the topic, handling change. How do you handle change? What is change? Do we not have to handle change? Let's talk about it. We'll be right back and we'll get started with our show. Hey, folks, just a quick word. I want to thank you for listening in on the Open Pagan Church Talk Show. And we could definitely use your help. Keep the lights on. Information is right there. Also, click on subscribe. Click like or dislike. And absolutely tell us why. Now, on with our show. All right, and here we go. Well, let me bring in Discord. Hello, Discord.
Hello, good morning.
Good
All
morning.
right. Well, first off, thanks to Cindy for the new mic. Definitely appreciated. Um, I'm not real sure if that looks like a rabbit hanging down beside my face or what, but boy, I'll tell you, it sure is nice. Um, if the audio needs to be adjusted, yep, we're still working on it. But when I'm not talking, at least the background sound of the servers isn't quite so bad. So how are we
You
sounding this morning?
Very good.
sounded very good. And let me listen to.
Looks like we got a Lester. Can't hear him chapping.
I'm here.
Well, I'm here, he said. All right, Bubba, get your coffee. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it. I got it, he said. Right. Handling change. Well, let's preface this, okay? The first thing I really don't want to get into is discussing the changes that's happened in everybody's life dating back how far ever. I think what we more want to talk about is talk about what change is. Does everything change? Can humans and animals and Mother Earth survive without change? You know, and I can tell you since the onset of 2020 and still happening pretty much in 2021. Man, let me tell you, it has absolutely been some catastrophic changes the world over. So, anybody want to put in their 2 cents of what they think change is?
Sure. Changes to me, nothing that stays the same, but it also changes biologically, cultural, um, wide range, from anything, like you said, biological, cultural, or even in the world, the Mother Earth changes too. The
Anybody else?
Yeah, change is always constant. It never slows down. There's always a change in some form or fashion, whether in our lives in Mother Earth or in our spiritual. We're always changing.
Absolutely. The only, and we can sort it up. We can sort it up real simple with this. The only thing that ever stays the same is everything changes. My coffee cup was full this morning and it has changed to empty.
everything changes. It's like his Coke glass. empty.
I was asleep 20 minutes ago. I woke up. That changed.
Oh boy, that's changed. Yep, yep. Um, yeah, for sure.
So what has changed though?
Well, let's think about it. Like I say, and like y'all said, the only thing that stays the same is everything changes. We can't stop it. We can't change the fact that everything changes. And my top monitor's got me looking a little blue today, I think. I need to work on that.
What has changed? Paul
I,
said.
I need to change that. Yeah, it's
No,
that.
No, listen.
Don, change is the few coins you get when you break a dollar bill.
That.
And then there's
That-
Paul.
Sorry.
Oh no, I mean you're right. That is change. It's changing a dollar bill from a dollar bill into a smaller bits of dollar bill. How about that? Lester, you were going to say something?
Nope.
Nope. All right, Mama Sandy needs to give him some more coffee. He's slow on the wit this morning.
I got my coffee in hand, bro.
And
Probably what you heard.
what's that?
I said that's probably what you heard. Me trying to take a drink.
Oh, got it. Well, let's see. Debbie says, for me, it's the change in which I've had no say.
Oh, she got that right.
That's the hardest. Yes. Well, as humans, that too.
Sorry.
That's fine. As humans, we have minuscule control over the changes of our body, right?
Amen, brother.
Now, you notice I said minimal. But see, then we have this, if hindsight was foresight, we'd all have 2020. I mean, think about it. If maybe I hadn't been bucked off of so many horses, ran into so many concrete walls while driving a race car, and practicing martial arts and getting hit in the nose every time I turned around, or in the crotch, I swear, sometimes that's the only two targets on a human body people are interested in. They tell you they're going to whoop your ass, and the first thing they do is hit you square in the nose. I'm like, okay, look.
That wasn't my.
Well, I mean, some people it might be kind of hard to tell the difference. Okay, yeah, I went there. Sorry. I can't remember the number of people that I have talked to over the years of being a pagan minister that one of the first things they tell me is, I hate change. My retort to that is, you're on the wrong planet. I mean, we could get into the whole time space continuum crap. That's just not a rabbit hole my brain I think will go down today. But how, I mean, I'm a firm follower of the serenity prayer, right? Um, help me accept the things I can't change. Help me help me to change the things I can, and help my dumb ass have the wisdom to know the difference. Okay, so that's not verbatim quote of the accept change prayer, but it works for me. But how do we know the things that we can change and the things that we can't? And change is partially rolled into control. I mean, most human beings think they can control um, everything. They can control when it rains. They can control when it don't rain. They can control the wind. They can control the speed the earth turns. I had one idiot one time tell me, I need to make it so that the sun stays up longer. I will work on that. I said, you knock yourself out.
Yeah. Well, change, like you said, is partially controlled. We can only control the here and now in our little surroundings that are around us. Everything's constantly changing, no matter what we do.
Say that.
Well, can we really truly change our surroundings by definition?
Oh, you can change furniture,
Yep.
change your car,
Yeah.
change your underwear.
If you're so inclined.
But if you're talking about, I mean, it depends on to what degree and to uh, what dimension of change you're talking about.
Bingo. Ding, ding, ding. Give that man a cookie. Never mind. Don't give that man a cookie, Cindy, until after the broadcast. Anyway. Um. Okay. Right. We can change the color of the wall. Um. We can, like, Debbie says, only by walking or driving away. Yeah. I mean, we can absolutely leave, disregard our surroundings. But, and thank you, Debbie, I was just fixing to say that. Can you escape yourself? What do you think?
No,
Oh,
because
yeah.
no matter where you go, there you are.
Well, Debbie and Paul and Lester, all three make a point. Lester says, yes, I agree to a degree. You can change yourself.
You can change
You
your
said
attitude,
escape.
your physical
You
surroundings.
said escape, not change yourself. You said escape.
Right. Well, escape.
You
Yeah.
can escape yourselves.
Well, I mean, through meditation, astral travel, OBE, I guess, by definition, that would be escaping oneself. Um,
Medically induced. Ambient. Hey.
oh, no. See, ambient is the only thing I have to be able to truly shut my mind down and sleep.
And you escape.
Alcohol.
Nope, can't use alcohol. Well, I can't.
No, I'm just saying it.
Each ways.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing with alcohol, and take it from someone who used to be an alcoholic. Alcohol does not make you forget what you came here to forget. it only makes you think you forgot it. But when the drunker you get, the more the memory is imposed and deeper and the harder it slaps you.
Well,
I can escape myself without the use of drugs or travel. All I have to do is curl up in a good comfy chair with a good book.
Curl up in a good comfy chair with a good book. Yes, sir. Um, Debbie says change, yes. Escape, no. And I understand where she's coming from. She's coming from the literal sense of escaping who you are, escaping what you are. I mean, you can change it. Yeah, the hangover can. Yeah, well, there is that. Like she says, they're temporary. They are temporary. You can end up coming back. And why the hell I'm trying to read what she's saying without my glasses on, I have absolutely no idea. There we
There's
go.
another change for you.
What's that?
I said, there's another change for you.
What? Putting on my glasses so I can hear you?
Putting on your glasses so you can read.
Who the hell said I could read?
you did.
Shut up! I did not. I
We
refuse
all
to.
have,
What?
we all have to go through that change eventually.
Oh boy. Yeah. So, I mean, we could actually do a 30-second broadcast by simply saying change is going to happen. Only you can change you. You only have a monicum of control of change over other people up to the point where cause and effect takes over. Like you say something or do something to someone else and it causes a change in their attitude and the way they see you. Well, okay, it's their responsibility how they take that, but it's your responsibility. Maybe should you have done it to begin with, or maybe promising someone you're going to do something and then not notifying them that you can't, or just showing up late, if at all.
We are all passengers on a great roller coaster of life. We
Oh,
get off anytime we want.
oh, well, yeah, but I don't like the alternative of just getting off.
Right.
I mean, I had a kid tell me one time, well, I don't have to deal with change. I can end it all right here today. I said, um, aside from
Actually, that's
suicide,
too.
how? He was all of 16 or 17, I think. And he started to open his mouth, and then he closed his mouth, and he said, never mind.
Yeah.
And I said, nobody knows for a scientific fact, okay? If we bring science into death, religion doesn't have a place.
Into that.
Scientific proven reality is the body dies, the body rots. End of story. Unless it's mummified, and then, well, it's kind of looked at a couple of thousand years later. But religions all over the planet dictate different belief systems for different religions. And even under paganism, we've got so damn many denominations of paganism. When you start talking past specific, everybody's got their own idea of what happens after death. You know? Me, I'm not going to die. I'm still going to be 200 years old sitting here on this camera giving y'all hell. course, if I'm looking like this at 59, it scares the hell out of me what I'd look like at 200 years old.
Well, technically speaking, you will be sitting there 200 years from now because unless something happens to these video archives, you're always going to be there.
You're right.
Posterity, brother, posterity.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah.
That's a change because
That's
you're
it.
gonna be there no matter what happens.
Yep.
Video archaeologists in 200 to 1,000 years from now will look back on this and say, "Man, look at that caveman."
Yeah. 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 You know, it's one of our funniest stories. If anybody ever wants to know why Lester's avatar on Discord is Captain Caveman, you'll have to get him to tell you the story.
Got the caveman.
I mean, there
That
was.
actually been one of my nicknames for many years, but when I first met Don, he was nice and clean shaven and short hair. And then the next time I ran into Don, he looked like Captain Caveman.
Oh yeah, you're talking about back when I first opened J&L Auto Parts. They wanted me to have a haircut and clean shaven. Now, once the auto parts had been open for a while, they didn't care. Um, but when I opened that auto parts in, holy shit, 1989.
You opened it before I got there. That's
Yeah. We opened it in 1989, and the owner of the company asked me if I would temporarily cut my hair and shave off everything but my mustache. And I'm like, you know, for the money they were paying me in 1989, it was absolutely worth it. You know, so there we went. Um, and then, of course, once we opened the store 3 months later, I quit shaving. uh,
Back on track. Change.
change. Well, that was change.
I was reading what Debbie said. Now, y'all be patient with the old guy. But you know, I mean, and Debbie's not the only one that does this.
Oh no.
She says, as someone who talks to her deceased parents every day, I know what happens after death. Well, you know, I can't argue with that. I mean, being a pagan minister and, you know, being of the chosen path of shaman, um, spiritually speaking, I can't argue with that. Um, I mean, hell, anybody that ever knew my grandmother, um, she comes by and visits me periodically and slaps me upside the head and says, "Boy, have you lost your mind."
Yeah, I've seen her, and I don't. Out at Liberty.
So, I mean,
For instance, okay, changes to me right now is medically and physically because of, I guess, I have to start using wheelchair for walking and stuff instead of being able to walk. That's a change, difficult change. Can I handle it with my friends and family help support? Yes.
yeah, I can tell you, walking out to the mailbox, which is about 15 yards from the front door, um, me walking out to the mailbox and back, I feel like I just ran a freaking marathon.
Yep, that's the same with me and Paul now.
Debbie says, "Oh yeah, your grandmother popped in this morning." Yeah. Well, Debbie had met my grandmother. I think one of the trips she came to Texas. Um, Bless his heart. I know Lester knew my grandmother when
Oh
she was
yeah, I know
alive.
very well.
She was still a hot-headed Choctaw Irish woman from hell, even when her hair went white. She was still a red-headed Choctaw Irish powder keg, and the nicest woman you ever met. You could piss her off.
With her little pea green motor machine.
Yeah, yep. Uh, I just checked. Lester's at 100%. We can't hardly hear you, brother.
You can't hear me.
Well, we can hear you. We just can't hardly hear you.
Oh well.
There you go.
Sorry.
Ah,
That's better. You were muffled like.
That was just my voice this morning, I guess.
okay, so we've talked about what change is and the fact that there are some things we can change. Um, we have some semblance of change over our own health. I know when my doctor frowned at me and said, "Your sugar is at 400 and you're still walking," I don't know how. She said, "We're going to get this under control." I said, "Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much." My average now, and has been for a couple of 3 months now, my average now is about 120 to 140, and that's good for me. That's where I feel my best. But with the help of communication with my doctor, communication, with people like Debbie and her sister and Cindy and others out there who are diabetic, I got the knowledge and the training that I needed to be able to get me started on what needed to be done.
Yay.
So I was able to, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility whether or not I take advice. And herein lies the subject of handling change, folks. It's up to you whether or not you take the advice that someone gives you and study it. Look it up. I mean, come on, I don't expect you to expect everyone's advice and just run with it. Hell no. You really wouldn't live long if you did that. But anytime you post anything on a social network, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, anytime you post anything on social network, you're gonna start getting advice. Well, whether or not you take it is strictly up to you. I mean, come on, last week my stupid self posted a picture of me in my CPAP mask. Well, that didn't go down well. I didn't even know I posted the damn thing until the next morning. And I've got dozens of messages going, "Dude, have you got COVID-19? Or are you okay? Why are you in the hospital?" I'm like, "Wait, what? Hospital? Who?"
No, I seen the picture. It looked like you were.
And I looked at that picture and I thought, "Oh no." The color of our bed sheets and the way the picture was angled, it looked like I was in the hospital on a respirator.
Yep.
Yep.
So I quickly felt bad about that one, deleted the damn post, and laid out an apology on my Facebook, going, "Okay, don't let friends post on night meds."
All they had to do was read the description. They knew that it was a CPAP and you're trying out a new one.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Sandy. Who reads the caption?
Already.
I mean, everybody looks at the picture and they've already made up their mind.
Well, that's true.
You,
But
you
they
know.
show you.
So people can't handle change when something like that goes on.
Well, you're right, and that's the whole point. People, at a norm, people don't like change. I mean, okay, I don't like the speed and the situation and the crap that has come with the changes in me over the last 2 years. No, no, don't like those changes at all. I mean, hell, I went from at least being able to uh, hold something to you ought to be trying to vape with this damn thing when my quakes are going stupid. That's kind of fun to watch. Sometimes if I pick it up fast enough and shove it right now, nobody touch this one. Sometimes if I pick it up fast enough, stick it in my mouth, push the button, and suck on it, I don't end up hitting what few teeth I have left. No, 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 no,
La 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 la
no,
la la.
no, yeah, no. But I mean, that's change. Hey, some of us, I've known some of my friends through the years that go to bed one night feeling okay, and they wake up the next morning in the hospital either from a stroke or a heart attack. I mean, change can be subtle. Change can be the blink of an eye. So now that we know change, and we know change cannot be changed, most of it, we know that change is going to happen. How do we handle it?
Sometimes we just got to deal with it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, sometimes we just got to deal with it. Yeah, but I mean that's the simple answer. Um, One of my friends that is a social worker. I don't know if she's a counselor now or not, but last time I talked to her, she was a social worker. Her reply on my Facebook post was, "Let the stress go."
Morning, Zabs.
Good morning.
Morning, Sam.
Sorry I'm late. I didn't get home until about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning.
Oh no, you're fine. And you know, I appreciate the sentiment. You know, like I told the counselor with EAP when I first started talking to him when all this stuff started happening. I said, all right, and I know I've said this before, but okay, keep in mind I am a spiritual counselor and I know what you're going to tell me before you tell me. She kind of smiled and she said, okay, tell me what I'm going to tell you. I said, okay. I said, you're going to tell me that I need to figure out a way to vent and let the stress and anxieties go. I said, you're also going to tell me that I need to learn how to meditate. I said, ma'am, I'm a shaman. I'm the one that teaches other people how to meditate. She kind of laughed. And I said, you're also going to tell me that I need to stop carrying everybody else's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like Debbie just said, far easier said than done sometimes.
So true.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I mean,
Right?
it's gotten to where I start carrying around everybody else's crap, and I ain't got time to carry my crap. And on this journey, you need your own crap. You don't need to be carrying everybody else's crap. Just carry your own. You ain't a pack mule.
Yeah. Well, herein lies the other side of the coin of handling change. The the loads we carry are going to change day by day, sometimes minute by minute. Um, we had a family conversation here in the house last night. Um, that flipped the switch to a 90-degree change of things that are going to have to take place in the house. No problem. Well, no can change it. So let's sit down as a household and the five of us discuss the changes that are happening so that everybody's on the same page.
There's a point in there, right there. Everybody has to have help on almost every change that goes on in our lives, no matter what we want to do. We always got to have help when change becomes either minute or drastic.
In one form or another, yes. But there's one word that I used in that explanation just a few moments ago that people who are buried up, and I'll go ahead and say it, ass deep to a giraffe in their own stuff. Yeah, what he said.
Sorry.
Ah, no need to apologize. I'm just giving him a hard time. That's my job. One word, folks. One word. Communication.
It takes teamwork to make the dream work.
Yes. The one thing that the counselor lady slapped me across the face with that I didn't have a comeback to, and I will hand it to her. She was an absolute sweetheart. Um, we spent more time giggling than we did actually talking because, you're right. How do you counsel a counselor? Well, you come up with the one thing that the counselor didn't tell the counselor what the counselor was going to say. I don't know about anybody else, but that just confused the hell out of me. She smiled and she said, Mr. Maxwell, there's one word I didn't hear you say. And that was communication. And Debbie has a valid point. Two words, honest communication. And part of my awakening yesterday was me telling the rest of the family, I got this, I'll figure it out. No, that's not going to help me handle change, and it's damn sure not going to help anybody else handle change, especially if you're living in a environment where there's more people other than yourself. Anybody got anything?
Say that again.
Is the If you live by yourself, going through depression and anxieties and life changes and health changes and all the other changes that happen to human beings when you live by yourself can be, not always, but can be deadly and horrendous.
Agreed. I have a friend right now that who lives by himself, and he's having a rough time. He has to find ways of adapting.
Well, let me ask you a question. This good friend, does he reach out to you guys?
To me, yes.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's like Debbie said, honest communication. The communicative phrase of "I got this," "I got it under control," "I can handle it." Um, all you're doing is fooling yourself. And every bit of this conversation on handling change, it all comes down to the more you buck change, the more you fight change, the more
The
you,
harder it's gonna hit you.
right. I mean, come on, people. Last week, I had to reformat my main system from Linux to Windows to be able to run the software that I need to run correctly to do these broadcasts and to handle the adjustments of this mic. It's not the mic's fault I had to reformat. It's just a program doing what programs do. And so I cussed and screamed and hollered and hit the desk a couple of times, which really didn't do anything but hurt my hand, but there you go. But at the end of it, I still had to hit F12, fire up my image server, and re-image to Windows. Did it chap? No. See, did it chap my ass? Yeah. Did I sit here the entire 6 hours of setting up Windows and doing the updates drive me crazy? Yeah. But if I'm going to do these broadcasts and they're going to sound good and they're going to look good and make people want to listen to them and watch them, I had to do the change, man. You know, accepting the fact that everything changes.
And it's not just there could be changes that come on gradually, and there could be changes that come on suddenly. Like, use my situation, you know, I spent about 20 years of my life just doing what I wanted to do, partying when I wanted to party, and it just, and now I'm paying for it. My body's starting to die. And some of that is just, it's an all of a sudden thing. Some of it has been coming for years. No matter what you do, moment to moment, you need to expect change of some sort. There could be, you could be driving, let's driving to Iowa, Louisiana in the middle of the night just because you want to get out and have a drive. Well, you could be pulling around a dead man's curve and somebody could smack into you and you could die within a second. So you need to, expect change and gradually, acclimate to it, or all of a sudden it's hard on you. Hard.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, in the big scheme of things, um, we human beings, in my analogy, it kind of brings a reality to point. We human beings, each one of us, is a very tiny speck of sand. If you added all of the sand on all of the beaches of the world, each human being is but a speck of sand.
I prefer stardust, but sand works too, I guess.
We'd take them the entire beach.
No, we wouldn't make it tired.
No, we wouldn't. If you pick up a standard 5-gallon bucket, and I'm using the American gallon, if you use a standard 5-gallon bucket and you pack the sand in there, humans, the global populations of humans, would not fill up that 5-gallon bucket.
If
You,
we're all little bitty pieces of sand, we won't even fill up half of that bucket.
right. And
Fill up.
what?
It'd be good to fill up a number 8 wash tub.
Pretty much.
If anybody knows what a number 8 wash.
Those of us old folk, we're pretty familiar with what number 8 wash tubs are. But change is inevitable. And some people might listen to this broadcast and go, but all of that is stupid information that people already know.
Is it?
Well, you would think.
What constitutes as common knowledge nowadays is so far fetched to these newer generations that we have coming out, and the way these kids are being raised, the way the your millennials have taken over, or at least what they thought was taking over. You've got different, like, you can go generation by generation and see the progress of change. You can see the decline of change. You can see the progress of the new change. I mean, it just, all it takes is a minute for you to stop and think.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Being in computers, networking, and servers, I am very painfully familiar with Moore's Law. And anybody that is not aware or has never heard the term Moore's Law, the guy's name is Moore. It's Moore's Law. Google it. It's rather interesting. But Moore's Law considers a lot on the ramp of change in digital technology from year to year.
Yeah. As soon as something comes out, it's obsolete.
Right. And, here's a good explanation of change, right? One of the things I saw the other day on TikTok, I thought it was really cute as hell, and I think I shared it on my Facebook story or whatever. A mother was playing a sound bite to her daughter. Now, the mother looked to be in her mid 40s, maybe early 50s. Daughter looked between, probably early 20s. So I paused it. And when I got back in the living room, of course, I had my daughter sit. I said, "You got to listen to this. I want to see your answers." And questions like, what is a rotary phone.
I've played with one of those. I know how to use it. I even know how to use the old style before we actually had 7-digit numbers and then 10-digit numbers when they added the area codes. There were actual like you'd have to rotary hit that 0 on that rotary and you'd have to say like Murray Hill 4911.
Yep.
You know, things
Or
of that nature. Oh
Showing your age,
yeah.
girl. You young whippersnapper.
Get out my yard, you kids.
right? But you know, I
Kingsbridge,
mean, it's stuff like that where
Kingsbridge 6445.
say that again.
I said when I was growing up in Spring Branch in Houston, we had a rotary phone. We were Kingsbridge 6445.
You want to hear something funny? I lived on Long Point in Spring Branch between the age of 12 and no, I'm sorry, between the age of 13 and 16.
You know, we probably ran into each other at one point in time
Probably.
Hey, Clint.
because that would have been back in the late 70s, early 80s. No, mid 80s,
No,
early 80s.
no. Early to mid 70s because we moved to Liberty in 78. I was 16 years old.
Late 70s because I was born in 65 and I'm older than you, aren't I?
I was born in 62. According to my
Okay.
math, I'm older than you.
Yeah, you're right. By about 7 years.
Here's one. How about a party line?
Yeah. My grandmother's phone was on a party line.
Ours too.
Now, see, I don't remember party lines because I lived in the metropolitan area.
Dude, man, us kids in Jacinto City, when I went to visit my grandmother in Jacinto City on the outskirts of Houston, they were still on a party line. We couldn't get by with nothing.
What are you talking about? 1974 out in Mauriceville, Texas, we had party lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, yeah, that was far enough outside the metropolitan where that would work.
Anyway, back
But,
on track.
well,
Changes.
think about it. We really are on track. We're talking about things that changed and how a number of them we just fell right into. You know, when I remember when my grandfather brought in the first color TV, which was a great big massive color TV console with a radio built in it. I was 7, 8. Um,
Yeah.
you know, things that we remember, the changes that we've been through, and we take a look, like, you know, if we take a look at my 15-year-old daughter, she went from her first year freshman in high school, halfway through her 8th grade year, she was homebound due to a pandemic. She is almost finished with her freshman year in high school.
Wow.
And anybody that remembers their freshman year in high school, man, that was a coming of age.
And the problem
Shoot,
is,
I remember mine. I remember freaking sitting in my freshman year of high school, down in the dungeon in my school, and doing my graphic design when the teacher down the hallway come running in telling us we needed to turn the news on because 9/11 was happening.
Yes.
Look at how the world has changed since 9/11, specifically this country. Look
Yeah.
at everything that we've gone through since then. Freaking 9/11 was 20 years ago this year. Think about that.
Well,
20 years, 2 decades.
yeah.
Think about if your life hadn't changed at all since that day, then you're living under a rock. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Well, here you just made a good point, Sal. And Debbie says an encyclopedia is now Google, where it used to be every home, almost every home that I went into had a full set of the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yep.
Oh, I miss those so
And,
much.
when this was, of course, back before they realized that dyslexic affected a lot of the reading comprehension, I was always told if you have a question about something, someone, or what is something, go look it up in the, get this, Webster Dictionary and the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh yeah, my dad when I was growing up, hey dad, this is what they're talking about on the news. What are they talking about? Hey, tell me go look it up. Or hey dad, how did you spell this word again? He'd throw the dictionary at me. Or he'd throw a thesaurus at me. Learn your synonyms, learn your
Yeah,
antonyms, learn
it,
all
it,
that.
it all comes back to dealing with change. Clint, what were you going to say?
Well, like you were talking about with Kaya, this whole last year, she hasn't seen one person.
Right. It's
That's
been,
a big change because freshman year, that's when you make your friends and your little cliques or whatever, and
right,
meet people. Now you don't.
right. And it's been over a year and a half now, almost two.
And also going back to the change in technology, when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have, you know,
Nope,
little computers in our pockets.
nope.
We had to actually, like, if we wanted to learn something for a research project in school, we had to go sit at the library
Okay,
with a card catalog, looking up every subject and going and researching in the books. Now, if you got a question, pop it into Google
okay.
or Bing or
So
even Yahoo.
there's the point. Handling change. I know people that are still using flip phones that triple tap to text.
Right.
I know that people,
Ah,
probably millions of people the world over, because there's a lot of freaking people on the world. Of course, there are still villages, um, populations of the planet that new technology to them is figuring out a better way to build a bow and arrow or a spear. New technology to them might have been when some ding dong come along and told them all of their belief systems were heretic to the church. You have to wear clothes and cover up that nasty body.
There is a perfect example of change and how to deal with it. I just thought about. I challenge everybody that's listening that has not seen it to go watch The Gods Must Be Crazy. You have to watch it if you're ever going to understand how the world can change.
Yeah, you got a point. And the my best recommendation, and we'll kind of draw to a close and let everybody get on with their day. Um, my best recommendation for handling change is right back to the thing I started with, and that is the Serenity Prayer. If you're an atheist, it's not a prayer, but it is a set of words that can help you better understand. Change the things I can, accept the things I can't, and help me realize the difference.
Cindy's got a favorite little saying about it.
Come on.
Let it go, let it go.
Oh, Paul, I'm glad you and I both didn't try to take up singing, bro. We'd both be broker than we are.
Just let it go.
So, letting it go is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It's hard. Accepting it can be really hard. And stopping long enough to understand the difference of the things that you can change and the things that you cannot. Things you can change or feel like you have a change in. If you don't like the politics that's going on, vote. I know in America and in the UK, we have a voting system. If you don't like the politics going on, vote. Don't be some dumbass that storms the Capitol. That didn't, the only thing that changed was made you look like an idiot. There, I said it.
Made people lose jobs, lose their livelihoods, lose everything.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do something stupid like that.
But
You know,
if you don't like the church you're going to, change it.
Well,
If-
that did have a effect, though.
Huh?
I said that did have a changing effect.
Oh boy, did it.
It wasn't their change, but now security has tripled at the White House.
Right. Right. So if
I find myself watching a lot of TikToks that have the inspirational quote of "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Yep.
Open your eyes and see what you want to see, but also see what you can't see.
and
Look around, open your eyes.
Yeah.
Be the change
Stop.
you want to see.
it's stopped, isn't it? So I mean, if you're barreling ass down a road and you want to make some changes, you got to stop and take a look, like you said. Take a look at what's going on around you. You know, if
Exactly.
it's like I say, if you don't like your church, change it. If you don't like your religion, change it. You know, you're not going to change Christianity. It is what it is. You're not going to change paganism. It is what it is. And, you know, same thing goes with Muslim, atheist, Jewish, whatever. Don't set out to change the religion. Set out to find the thing that works for you. And that's all a part of change. That is all a part of change. You know? So, anybody else have anything they want to say before I let these poor people get back to their lives? Well, you know, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been an amazing conversation. The topic for next week is already placed. It's going to be a hot one. It's not going to be politically correct. So if you wear your heart on your sleeve, you may not want to be there. But I hope you are. If you don't know what it is, check out our YouTube page. Click subscribe, click like, click donate, click whatever you need to click. And by God, if you don't like what we got to say, we want to hear from you and tell us why. If the only
And make
thing
sure
I
you
see in
turn
the
on your
post,
notifications.
right, if the only thing I see in a post is y'all are stupid, okay, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and most all of them stink. I'm going to delete it. But if you have something interesting to say, I want to hear from you. Right. Great. I hope you like the new format. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you next time here on Open Pagan Church.